You know how they celebrated New Year's Eve in Portland, Oregon? I'll tell you, in Portland, Oregon, this is amazing. There were, you're never going to believe it, at the stroke of midnight, Portland, Oregon, there were riots. There were riots. I'm not kidding. Antifa supporters. They started running through the streets of Portland on New Year's Eve. They were rioting and looting and hitting people and breaking things and doing basically what they've been doing pretty much every night for months now, pretty much all through 2020. It was just more of the same in 2021. And Ted Wheeler, by the way, is the mayor of Portland. He is a very liberal mayor, and you may remember him. He had a little claim to fame last year when he called out President Trump. Do you remember when the Portland federal courthouse was under attack and President Trump sent in troops to protect the federal building, which is not only his right, but it's also his obligation? And the mayor was very upset with that, and he told Donald Trump to stay the hell out of the way. It's okay if you don't remember, because I have it right here.
I'm going to do the work that I need to do here in my local community with my local officials to take accountability for what's happening on our streets. And I'd appreciate that either the president support us or he stay the hell out of the way.
Yeah, Ted Wheeler's going to take responsibility for keeping his neighborhood safe, and he's going to do his job, and the president can either support him or get the hell out of the way. Well, how did Ted Wheeler decide he was going to do his job? How did Ted Wheeler, Mayor of Portland, decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to keep our residents safe? He decided he was going to do it by defunding the police. When there were riots going on nightly in Portland, Oregon, Ted Wheeler decided the best thing to do is defund the police. When the president had to send in National Guard troops to protect federal buildings in Portland, Oregon, the mayor decided to defund the police. And he did it to the tune of $12 million. He was very excited about it.
We propose to redirect over $7 million from the police bureau and $5 million from other city funds directly to communities of color, reinvesting $12 million.
$12 million. They're taking it away from the police. They're taking it away from community organizations, which means, you know, things like public safety officers in schools to make sure there aren't school shootings, things like that. And they are funneling it into the African-American community projects. And then 6 months later, he's shocked to find that there is still lawlessness running rampant in Portland, Oregon. So he had to come out with another press conference after New Year's Eve and pledge that now that he's defunded the police by $12 million, he realizes there's a need for, well, police in Portland.
My good faith efforts at de-escalation have been met with ongoing violence and even scorn from radical Antifa and anarchists.
Look at this. My good faith efforts to restore law and order wasn't a good faith effort. You were pandering to the political base of the Democratic Party, who is demanding that you defund the police and give the money to other organizations. That wasn't good faith. That was, you were petrified that you were going to get ousted from your platform as mayor. That's all it was.
In response, it will be necessary to use additional tools and to push the limits of the tools we already have to bring the criminal destruction and violence to an end.
Okay, so now Ted Wheeler, after pledging to take $12 million away from the police department, is saying, hey, now that these riots are continuing, now that there's lawlessness on New Year's Eve, you know what? We're going to need more tools, meaning more police, meaning more money for police, and we're going to have to push the tools we already have to the limits to make sure that it doesn't continue.
Lawlessness and anarchy come at great expense and with great risk to the future of our community. It's time to push back harder against those who are set on destroying our community and to take more risks in fighting lawlessness.
Push back harder, like when the president of the United States sent federal troops in to take control of your city because you weren't pushing back at all. This is what's happening. 2021, I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be the year of Democrats realizing just how bad their policies are. It's going to be the year of Democrats realizing just how bad their leadership is. 2021 is the year of the Democrat chickens coming home to roost. In just 6 months, Ted Wheeler realized that, hey, if you've got disorder and lawlessness in your streets, maybe defunding the police isn't the best idea. But maybe that leads to more lawlessness and disorder in your streets. There's a thought.